Hello and welcome back. I'm Sona and I'm one of the founders of Breathworks. I'm going to be leading some of the meditations from now on. And today we're going to be looking at mind training in what we've called training the puppy of the mind. I find it quite useful having different images or metaphors for the mind. And a puppy and mind, they have a lot of things in common. You know how when people take their dog for a walk and they let it off the lead, hoping that the dog will stay with them, walking along a path through the woods, but very quickly the dog sees something interesting and shoots off somewhere and investigates. So the owner of the dog calls the dog back and then they continue walking. This is so similar to how our mind works. We decide we're going to sit and anchor our attention on our breathing, stay with our breathing, focusing on the sensations of the breath coming in and going out. At first, this seems easy to do. When we settle, we may even find it quite calming. But after a little while, it's as though something else pops into our mind, a thought, maybe an emotion. And before we know where we are, it's as though we're lost a little in the woods. Another part of us is like the owner of the puppy, is able to call us back, to remember, to come back and refocus on our breathing. So this is all we do in mindfulness really, certainly when we're training in this way. Just watching how the mind stays focused, staying interested in the breathing, and then how it goes away to something else. Often we only know that when we realise we're now starting to think about something else. So we just come back again and again, without forcing it, without getting irritated, frustrated, just realising it's the whole process of training, being aware when your mind has wandered, making the decision to come back to your breathing, to whatever it is you're focusing on, and then just settling there, continuing, and when the mind goes away again, bringing it back. And little by little, we'll find that we start doing this more and more naturally, and the training itself is more like a practicing. It's just all we ever do in mindfulness really is just practicing, being aware what's happening, and then deciding whether to continue with the thoughts, the feelings we have, or bringing them back to whatever it is we're focusing on. So if you'd like to just set up your meditation posture so you feel kind of relaxed, but at the same time you need to feel alert, awake, and becoming aware that you have a body resting in a chair, on a cushion, or if you're lying down on the surface you're lying down on, and allow yourself to let go into gravity. This just really means allowing yourself to just become a little more heavy, noticing that you are being held down. There's a force, gravity. It's quite mysterious, interesting, just holding us still. So it's the first thing we can focus on, is just being still whilst being alert and awake. And then we can turn our attention to our breath. Notice that we're breathing in, breathing out. And as you breathe, if you notice any tension in the body, allowing yourself to just let go. You may like to do this with the out breath. Sometimes you may even decide to just take a longer out, allow a longer out breath. Just let the breath release, let go of any tension. You may notice that when you pay attention to your breathing, it has a very calming effect, allowing yourself just to soften, be aware. And even if you're tense, you can be aware of the tension or restlessness or even tiredness, and just carry on breathing and see if anything changes. And as you breathe, noticing when your mind begins to have a thought come into consciousness, notice how you can spot that thought, how you can let go of it. And try not to think too much about watching your thoughts or being aware of your thoughts. Just come back to your breathing, experiencing your breath, all the different sensations you have from breathing in air and breathing out the air. When the mind wanders off, gently but firmly bringing the mind back once more to your breathing. Okay, so now we're going to bring the meditation to a close. If you want to continue sitting and training the mind, being wherever you're breathing, please do so. But when you finish the meditation, just perhaps spend a few moments asking yourself how that went. Did you learn anything? Was there anything interesting or unusual? How did it feel? And whatever happens, just being aware that you knew what was happening. It's kind of a magic moment when you know what you've done, where you went, what happened. This is just really mind training, just knowing what the mind does. And you can do this throughout the day, of course. You can use the moments when you feel a little bit wound up or speedy, rushing, or even excited, just to come back to your breathing, to just anchor yourself in your own experience in the present moment, noticing what's happening. So I hope you have a really good day or evening. I look forward to our next session, which will be tomorrow, and we'll be again looking at how to train the mind using the breath in a slightly different way.